Oi, oi, going to do a quick single video for Sunday. This will be quick, I promise. Another last one. Probably went on longer than some of you would have liked. If you haven't watched that video, then you can go check what I fancy on Saturday. There's two main bets in there, but there's one that's like a proper bet. I'll stick it up on the screen. I know I said before I was going to do it. I don't know which way is best to do it. I'm going to point there, but I'll put up the bets that I've put on so you can see I've had 50 each way on Irish Prophecy at 12s. Some of that's at 14s, I think, with Bet Victor, and then I've got 25 win on Lifetime Ambition. That's more of a bit of a punty punt. I feel like it'll be there or thereabouts. I've done a little each way double as well. I only got 5 each way double on there. But yeah, Irish Prophecy is the one that I fancy. So price is starting to come down, but you might still be able to get on. I genuinely think this horse should be much shorter. I'm being very biased, but I feel like he should probably be like 3, 4, 5 to 1 poke, and I'd still fancy him if he was 6, 7, 8 to 1. So obviously the each way side of it goes a little bit. You know, I'm not normally an each way better, but anyway, that's done. Let's not talk about that anymore. I'm going to go through Sandown and Cork because there's some half decent action. First race at Sandown. Anyone that's known me for a little while will know that I'm going to talk about the Cob. I do like this horse. God knows what sort of price he'll be. Probably not me one for a bet, but I like the horse. He does run well fresh as well. So as much as I followed him to the cows came home last season, he's down to a couple of pounds higher than his last handicap winning mark. And I like him. Luca Morgan takes off 3. It'd be one for me in the first at Sandown if you were going and you just wanted to have a bet for the sake of having a bet. Then the novices handicap chase after. I do like these novices handicap chases in the main. We've got Solo, who has been chasing last season. Hasn't been chasing last season. Was chasing and then went back to a hurdle. Hasn't really been as progressive as you'd have expected for this horse to be over fences. He's carrying top weight. I haven't looked enough in the race to see if there's anything else to take him on with, but definitely be a watch and brief, that one. But I do think there'll be some winners that come out of it. There's a nice maiden hurdle after that's got Boom Boom for Nicky Henderson that's supposed to run at Newbury, didn't run. We've got Matterhorn in there for Paul Nicholls. Harry Cobden looks quite nice. There's probably a couple of others in there that could be interesting, but those would be main two. There's a Future Stars Intermediate Chase, a listed race. Now this is a race where there's 5 runners. One of them's already engaged to run tomorrow as well. I think it's I ended at Wincanton. Don't know if it's going to run, so it's due to run Saturday. But got no chance anyway. 2 got no chances, and there's Fantastic Ass, Pick Door, he does he know. Let's not forget everyone fancied Fantastic Ass for the Ultima last year. Got backed in. He's getting £6 from Pick Dory and Does He Know, which puts him £7 behind Pick Dory and £4 behind Does He Know. Now, Does He Know fell running a handicap chase at Kelso the last day. I don't know whether that was a race to put him right for this or whether that was the race. Was taken down the post early, fell. They're just racing post comments I'm reading out there, but obviously not a great start to come back. But maybe they were training to come forward to this. I love Pick Dory as a horse, to be honest with you. And I was upset when I backed him at Aintree because I knew after they jumped the first fence that he was not running as well as he could do. I was pretty impressed with his run at Newton Abbott. Potentially could have been a bet in there, even though he was giving tons of weight away to this Kisses for Katie. Who actually ran today. I don't know if it won at Fontwell in the first, but by the by, he ran at Kempton last season and he put in an absolute filthy jump towards the last. I was really impressed with the way that Harry Cobden rode him. He does respond to it. He was just, like I say, very out of character at Aintree. He has run round here before when he was absolutely battered by Lahon Presse. So that's a tiny worry. It's a nice type of race to go into, this intermediate chase. But I don't know. So I feel like Pick Dory would be my idea of the winner. Does he know still like a flying oven? I still think he's a pretty good horse. I'd fancy Pick Dory. I think he's going to be properly too short though. So I don't know if it'd be a bet perspective, but he's the most likely winner. I'd have a reservation about Sandown about him, but it's a nice race. They're all 7-year-olds. Say it's a nice race. The top 3, it'll be interesting to see how they go anyway. Handicap hurdle after this, which I've got no interest in the slightest. Then there's a Veterans Handicap Chase, another race I don't really have interest in, but we've got things like Ballyhand in there, a bumper winner. We've got Lost in Translation in there. We've got some nice horses that are in there. Not a race that I'd get involved with, but I'm sure something will be backed and there'll be people that like something in there. Then there's a bumper that's got a few horses that have been entered up to run and that finally can have a crack. Again, nothing of real interest in there, so I won't bore you any more. Cork, there's some pretty decent racing going on there. It tends to get better as the card goes on, if I'm perfectly honest. Maiden hurdle kick off, just a 2-mile one. It seems like the ground's be quite slow there, so I don't really know what we're going to learn too much from them, but it'll be good to watch anyway. There's a novice hurdle, though, a listed race, which is a 3-mile softer heavy. And the main horse that I'm really interested in here is Cool Survivor, because it was the Gigginstown, the first horse they picked back up after they got out of the game. Obviously had to be something that was going to lure them in. Was fairly well tight with bumpers, beating on hurdle bumper debut. Did still manage to run 6th behind Facile Vega at the it wasn't a Dublin race, it was Boxing Day, I think. And then Punchestown ran again in the bumper there. 6th again, stayed on. Just looks like a Gigginstown horse. And I'm not, this isn't saying this because of the Josh thing recently where I talked about Gigginstown is not having, like, they want 3 milers. But this horse is an out and out 3 miler. So I'm so pleased that they've shoved him in here in a real attritional test for his second hurdle start, because they ran him over 2.5 at Punchestown. He won, got the job done, but was staying on. I think he'll take a hell of a lot of beating here. He gets £4 from Grand Soir, who is a course and distance winner, but his wins have come on good ground. He has come second on the softer heavy ground, but I think Cool Survivor's the one. The Racing Post Tissues 5-4 Grand Soir, 7-4 Cool Survivor. I could see this Cool Survivor being backed personally. I'll see how Elliot gets on over the weekend too, but I don't know whether I'd want to bet him, but I feel like if he was a 5-2 poke, I'd take a punt just because he'd be the wrong price. But he would be more of a trade than a bet to leave it. There's a grade 3 novices chase after this. El Barra should take the world of beating in there. The way that the race has panned out and the conditions and stuff, like he'll be an odds on poke. Should win, but we know he can be a little bit ropey with his jumping. Another Willie Mullins horse who'd be ropey with their jumping is Shadow Rider, but I'm very keen to see how that horse goes. Has had his issues, but it looks a tidy enough race anyway. Not going to be seeing any probably festival winners in there. Grand Parodies in the races, or Ida's Boys in there. It's a nice looking race. There is the Cork Grand National, which would have been the feature card on the Sunday. I've no opinion in that in the slightest. So I'm not even going to waste any time on that. There's a handicap hurdle after that again. Nothing of main interest in there. Then there's a bumper that's got a couple of horses. So we've got Molly's Mango for Gordon Elliott, already beaten in a bumper. Moat Park for Willie Mullins. Patrick Mullins has jocked up to ride that. Don't know. I don't think any of these mares are that good. Probably being harsh, but still worth a watch. So that wraps up Sunday's racing. Next week we got Cheltenham, so there'll be a preview that's coming out for the November stuff. I'll be doing something with the Cheltenham Exchange, so if you haven't already, go and check out their channel and subscribe to that. And yeah, I'll be hopefully trying to get a chat with a couple of people. I might try and get Jamie and Daryl and possibly George. I might see if I can get Matt involved at some point again in my life, because I know you guys like to see them. But that's thoughts for Sunday. No, probably real bets in there. I do really fancy this Irish Prophecy. If you haven't watched that video, I'll talk about it in there. Go back and watch the Saturday selections. Be lucky. Hope you have a good weekend. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything you fancy. And as always, please like and subscribe, and I will see you again soon.